गोविंदाय नमो नमः। गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Chapter 2, text number 54. We will recap 53 anyway, but 54 we'll read today. Those who do not have Bhagavad Gita can type in their mobile, or there are some which can be passed on. And otherwise, they can type in their mobile in Google, just BG space 2.54. BG space 2.54, and you will get Veda base. Still, we have one or two more books are there still in Hindi, but there, yes. So you get that, and that second chapter, 54th slok, you can open. Hare Krishna. So repeat after me. All okay? हिंदी किसी को नहीं आता है तो फिर अलग इंग्लिश उसमें खोल लीजिए. आई स्पीक इन इंग्लिश ओनली मोस्टली, but we only read in Hindi. We started in Hindi, but we have shifted to English. Arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta vrajeta arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta vrajeta
sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā.
Arjuna uvāca.
sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā.
sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā.
samādhi-sthasya keśava.
samādhi-sthasya keśava.
prabhāṣeta.
sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta.
āsīta
vrajeta
Arjuna uvāca.
Arjuna uvāca.
sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā.
sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā.
samādhi-sthasya keśava.
samādhi-sthasya keśava.
sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta.
sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta.
āsīta-prajeta
āsīta-prajeta Arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta-prajeta Arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta-prajeta Arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta-prajeta Arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta-prajeta Arjuna uvāca. sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. samādhi-sthasya keśava. sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta. āsīta-prajeta Hare Krishna. Word to word meaning. Arjuna uvāca. अर्जुन ने कहा sthita-prajñasya कृष्ण भावनामृत में स्थिर हुए व्यक्ति की का क्या भाषा भाषा samādhi-sthasya समाधि में स्थित पुरुष का केशव हे कृष्ण sthita-dhīḥ कृष्ण भावना में स्थिर व्यक्ति किम क्या prabhāṣeta बोलता है किम कैसे āsīta रहता है vrajeta चलता है किम कैसे। अनुवाद तात्पर्य बेसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद के द्वारा। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। मेरे पीछे दोहराइए। अर्जुन ने कहा हे कृष्ण अध्यात्म में लीन चेतना वाले व्यक्ति स्थित प्रज्ञ के क्या लक्षण है, वह कैसे बोलता है तथा उसकी भाषा क्या है, वह किस तरह बैठता और चलता है। बड़ी
इस प्रकार व्यक्ति के उसकी विशिष्ट स्थिति के अनुसार कुछ लक्षण होते हैं, इसी प्रकार कृष्ण भावना भावित पुरुष का भी विशिष्ट स्वभाव होता है, यथा उसका बोलना, चलना, सोचना आदि। जिस प्रकार धनी पुरुष के कुछ लक्षण होते हैं जिनसे वह धनवान जाना जाता है, जिस तरह रोगी अपने रोग के लक्षणों के रुग्ण जाना जाता है, या कि विद्वान अपने गुणों से विद्वान जाना जाता है, उसी तरह कृष्णा की दिव्य चेतना से युक्त व्यक्ति अपने विशिष्ट लक्षणों से जाना जाता है। इन लक्षणों को भगवत गीता से जाना जा सकता है, किंतु सबसे महत्वपूर्ण बात यह है कि कृष्ण भावना भावित व्यक्ति किस तरह बोलता है, क्योंकि वाणी ही किसी मनुष्य का सबसे महत्वपूर्ण गुण है। कहा जाता है कि मूर्ख का पता तब तक नहीं लगता जब तक वह बोलता नहीं। एक बने चने मूर्ख को तब तक नहीं पहचाना जा सकता जब तक वह बोले नहीं, किंतु बोलते ही उसका यथार्थ रूप प्रकट हो जाता है। कृष्ण भावना भावित व्यक्ति का सर्व प्रमुख लक्षण यह है कि वह केवल कृष्णा तथा उन्हीं के संबंध विषयों के बारे में बोलता है। फिर तो अन्य लक्षण स्वतः प्रकट हो जाते हैं, जिनका उल्लेख आगे किया गया है।
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we have just completed 2.53, that is, from Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, from Bahushakha Buddhi to Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, the entire journey. Okay. So for quite a few new people. Actually, it will be suddenly a philosophy for you all. So I'll just give you a brief recap in 2-3 lines, because we have been discussing this for last 2 years. So chapter 1, Arjuna, when came for the battle, when everybody assembled for the battlefield, he lost his composure and he started giving various reasons that I would not fight, out of which first reason was his compassion, that I would not fight my relatives, I don't want to kill them. Second reason he gave was loss of enjoyment. If all the family members die, then what is the use, Like if you get a first rank and if you don't share with your family people, what is the use? So that's why he says, loss of enjoyment. He said no family, so no enjoyment. Third one he says is, I will get sinful reactions. If I kill my own men, I'll get sin. Then fourth reason he gives us, family traditions would get vanquished. As a result, because elderly people will die away, women will get polluted, and then unscrupulous people may exploit them. As a result, family traditions would get lost. So, no, very valid reasons which he gives. But then, and in the end, he says that, then Krishna says, you're talking like a pandit, but you're behaving like a, timid man. You're talking like a pandit, but you're not behaving like a pandit, right? You're behaving like a timid man. I don't know. It's like he says, he goes to the extent of saying that, where did you accumulate all this dirt? Without, Pandit do not talk on the, Pandit do not accumulate dirt. You have accumulated dirt and you're talking like high philosophy. So he says, then, he gets very angry, Arjuna, how to put out, I have given valid reasons and Krishna has said all those 4 reasons as dirt. So he says that, I cannot attack my Guru Maharaj. Would you have attacked your own Guru Maharaj in this way? Then immediately he realizes, what am I saying? And then he says, I am confused of my duty, Krishna. I don't know, due to my miserly weakness. Miserly weakness means, okay, when you say miserly weakness, when you have something, who you call a miser, who has something but he does not want to share. So due to my miserly weakness at my heart, because I'm more attached to my family members, so I'm unable to decide what is good and what is bad. So can you please guide me? I have become your disciple and you please become my guru and please explain me what is good for me. In this way, he gives out surrender, giving out 5 reasons. That is indecision. The 5th reason, that I am unable to decide. So you please better guide me. And that is where Krishna starts speaking from 2.11 till 2.53 was speaking, almost 44 shloks. 11 to 53. 43 shloks. Yeah, 43 shloks, almost Krishna spoke where he almost dismantles reasons, given by Arjuna, that, leave about, that he first gives the Atma Gyan, that is, you are not the body, you are the soul. So, rescuing a body means like rescuing a shirt of a person. If a person is drowning and if you just rescue his shirt, what is the use? You have to rescue the person. If the shirt is torn, is not an issue. Similarly, we are the soul and this outer covering a body is the cloth for the for the soul. So we have to rescue the soul, in that way. So for that, you do not have compassion, do not have compassion to the bodies. Today they are in this body, tomorrow they may be in some other body. This way he dismantles the compassion reason. Then similarly going forward, he dismantles all other reasons also. We'll not go much deeper into it, quite a few things. When he says, I will get sin, so he'll say, no, as a Kshatriya, if you don't fight, you will get sin for not fighting, because you have accumulated in the battlefield. Because, a major says fire to a sepoy and the sepoy doesn't fire, then he'll be pushed out of the warfare, right? Kahin bhi agar wo yuddh mein gaya hai and he doesn't want to fire, then he'll say, please get out. You are not supposed to be here. So you will accumulate sin if you do not fight. And family traditions gets vanquished. Then there is quite a lot in terms of family traditions that, all the traditions move down only to the Atma and Paramatma. So ultimately, that is what is the relationship, and which is the relationship with the Guru, which will be valid. Rest all relationship will be ending up with the body. So don't be worried about the relationship, because the moment anybody in our house also anybody dies, we don't keep after 4-5 hours also we'll say please take and go. Smell karne lag gaya hai to, hai na? So we don't have any attachment to the body. We have attachment to the soul, but the soul has already lost. But we don't find ourselves being showing that I am attached to the soul. We are more attached to this body because we see this body. So quite a few things we covered, and then still Arjuna has a doubt that, I'll incur sinful. Krishna is saying that if I fight, then only I'll not incur sin, but fighting involves killing. So killing would somehow or the other involve sin. So how is it that Krishna saying it will not be sinful? And that is where Krishna introduces buddhi yoga, that, through your intelligence, you have to decide. And intelligence, everybody is not intelligent, we can say. So everybody intelligence varies from category to category or from type to type. So how intelligence can be used so that I do not get sinful reaction. So that is where exactly we understand that, whatever deeds we do during that entire discussion of how to use intelligence, we come to across that, whatever deeds we do, we get karma bandhana. That is what is the reaction. For every action we do, we get a reaction. In order to get free from the reaction, we have to do yoga with Krishna. And that is where Krishna defines yoga in this buddhi yoga. That is, you have to do yoga. Yoga means connect with Krishna. A person, like you have to get to connect to a person who really do not have this karmas and all those. Krishna going forward will say, I do not have anything I do not get karma bandhana. So that is where if you attach with such kind of persons, if you do yoga with such kind of persons, you will not get karma bandhana. Otherwise, any other act you do, you will get karma bandhana. Karma bandhana in the sense, you do good acts, you go to the heaven, reap them. If you do bad acts, you again come back and again you go to the hell. Whatever you have to suffer and again come back. So this is what is the chakra, like Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi chakra, which keeps on continuing. Janma, Mrityu chakra continues. In order to break that, then we have to do some kind of process, and that is where that process has been explained between 40 to 53, where the process first he says is hinders when you have multi-level focus. So your focus should shift to a single point focus. And that is where the whole lot of philosophy came in, how to shift from multi-level focus to single point focus. Naturally, when we have goals, if we have too many goals, then we will get lost. So we have to have one by one goal. So that is where right now it is Yuddha. So Arjuna should have only one goal, that he has to fight. So that is where Krishna focuses on advising him to fight. Okay, fight for the sake of fighting or whatever he says, but fight. And then just if you fight in a sakam way, certainly you will incur reactions. Then he introduces nishkam. That is, fight for the sake of fighting. So in that case, what? You have to do your karma. You have adhikar to do your karma, but you do not have adhikar to its results. Result may be successful or may not be successful. Every student gives his exam. He may be or may not be. Probability is he may or may not be successful. He thinks he will be successful, but the result may come altogether different. Maybe it could be external circumstances, anything. So Krishna says, do not get, you have only right to work, but not right to the results. Results will come, are in my hand. Like, it is, and you don't want to fall into that. You just do your work, keep doing your work, and do not bother yourself also that, you are responsible to do the work. If you do not do, somebody else will do. So do not bother that you yourself are only responsible to do that work. And that way he gives that karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So keep doing your work selflessly. So selflessly is nishkam karma. Doing selflessly, then he introduces yogas. Yogas is, first yoga is to look at everybody equally. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Second definition he gives is yoga karma sukhaushalam. That, when you dovetail all your activities, then he says, you don't have to do anything. You have to just dovetail those activities to somebody who is free from karma bandhana. So dovetail in the sense, what is the meaning of dovetail? Like you have food, right? So food anyway you have. So instead of having food generally, offer it to Krishna, because he says there is no karma bandhana. When he accepts food, the food becomes free of karma bandhana and we have it, it becomes prasad. So that is dovetailing of work. So any kind of activity, how do we do? Krishna Arpanamastu is dovetailing of activities. So if you do that, you will be free from karma bandhana. And that is how, explaining that, Krishna gives second definition, yoga karma sukhaushalam, that everybody cannot perform as per their, any work cannot have a specific process. It is the buddhi which comes in, respectively, the intelligence which comes in. Because the hierarchy in the Bhagavad Gita later on will come. First is mind, first is senses through which we act. Second is mind, which is the storehouse of desires through which the senses act. And above that is intelligence, which is a discriminating factor. And above intelligence is the soul. So we have to come to the soul consciousness. For that, again, Krishna introduces you have to go above three gunas, because this material world is full of three gunas. And when you are stuck into this three gunas, you will never be able to go to that nirguna, which is Suddha Sattva. And that is where actually, he doesn't say that I reside, but, he says, okay, that is, you connect with that supreme. So he doesn't introduce directly till now. And later on, he will introduce himself, who am I? That is, I am Krishna, the Supreme Lord. He will introduce only later on. But then, he says, I surrender to the Supreme. And that is where that second definition, Yoga Karmasu Kaushalam, comes in. And going forward, then we had last class where the third definition of yoga was given. Samādhi-sthasya keśava.
Yogam avapsasi.
Yes, tada yogam avapsasi. Samadhi, yes. So it was on the samadhi, right? So we just have a recap, what all you understood. Then I'll give you a brief recap about 53 and then we'll go to 54 also, today what we have read. What have you understood? Shruti viprati pannate yatha dasyatsi nishala samadha vachala buddhis tada yogam avapsasi. It is not too old also, 2 days before only. Prabhu too. Hare Krishna. प्रभु ने तो समझाया. So anybody, anything, any word?
Samadhi means the equilibrium between the soul and the mind.
Yes, that is the, how can you attain that equilibrium between the desire of the, between this, how soul and mind speaks in one line. That's the whole thing. Yeah. What else? So, anybody else? Anything else? आप बोल दो प्रभु कुछ है तो.
अलंकार में ही भाषा के ट्रैप में
नहीं आना. अलंकार में भेषों में, क्योंकि श्रुति विप्रति पढ़ना, श्रुति itself shows, वेदों के अलंकार में भाषा में नहीं फंसे. Yes. Apart from that,
hard working in right direction.
yes, hard working in right direction. प्रभु ने भी वही सही बात बोली थी. Yes. Right direction क्या है जो गुरु बताएगा, है ना? हाँ. Yes.
Any small things done in the Krishna conscious will lead to a higher state.
Higher?
Everything is
Chaitanya, yeah, of course, yeah, that's what I introduced. Yes, that's what, yeah, I said, yeah. Till now what we were talking about was, till 52, what we were talking about was situate yourself in that consciousness, right? This word we used quite a lot. Situate yourself into that consciousness, because become nistraigunyo. So you have to situate yourself above three gunas. Okay. So similarly, we had spoken to situate yourself into that, then you will get that destination which is supreme. Pada gachanti anamayam. So when you situate yourself above the material realm into the spiritual realm, by dovetailing, that is where you get the spiritual loka we were discussing. So, how now introducing the last shloka about yoga, Krishna in 2.53 gives out very clearly the third definition, that how to attain that perfection. We said, tada pada gachanti anamayam. So, how to attain that perfection? How to attain that destination, the goal which we had placed, single point focus. How do we, and we become from Vedas to Nirveda, that also we understood, and 52 only we ended up with Nirvedam, that is, becoming consciousness to be situated in the higher plane. So when you do that, how do you attain that perfection is explained today by samādha-achala buddhi. Once you, samadha, everybody knows this, in trance, absorption, we can call it, right? Absorption, right? In English word, Prabhu? Samadha is absorption.
Samadha.
I don't think. Absorbed, that's what. In consciousness, that's what. Supreme consciousness, absorbed. Leaving everything and being absorbed, right? What else do you call? Samadhi is a technical term of Sanskrit, but samadhi ka arth hota hai ki bhai, that's what. So, absorption in general terms, I'm talking it. That's a okay technical meaning Mataji gave, that is, what does that mean? But in general sense also we have to understand, because sometimes If anybody asks us, we'll not know. So that's what I got. The word is absorption only. Samadhi mein jana. He's gone in absorption. Trance, we call it. Yeah, trance. That's what. So trance, I have to explain is we are to reach to that transcendental level. So just a word before the trance I wanted. So sitting, that process of sitting is absorption. Then you reach in trance, right? Yeah, that's what. So sitting in absorption. Samadhi में बैठना जिसको बोलते हैं ना समाधि. Okay. हाँ?
Not necessary.
हाँ, okay, ठीक. इसीलिए आज के क्वेश्चन में आएगा. स्टैंडिंग ऑल्सो इट्स फाइन. बट देन समाधि अपने दिमाग में क्या रहता है इन कॉमन पार्लेंस? क्या रहता है?
Absorption is okay. But
Yeah, that's what absorption. Yeah, I'm telling. That's what I got the point. Absorption is better because thinking into every one of you, I put that word absorption. प्रभु ने हिंदी में समझा दिया, but I wanted to tell you all in English because most of you will follow English. That's why I wanted to put that. So what I was saying, Shruti vipratipanna yatha dasyasya nischala. So whatever Shruti meanings Shruti we meant what is Shruti? Scriptures, right? One word is scriptures, Vedas, Upavedas, and Upanishads, and everything. And Shruti, and one more word for Shruti is like, listening. Right? And both combined also we can say the art of, listening, the Vedas and Upavedas and Upanishad. That also we can say. So Shruti, imagine that all, whether you're listening, whether you're reading, whether you're doing anything. Shruti vipratipanna is a word very important. So there are 2-3 important words I'll stress upon and then we'll move forward. There is Shruti vipratipanna, Shruti nischala, okay, yatha sthasya nischala, Shruti nischala, and samādha-vachala buddhi, achala buddhi. So बुद्धि का ही हम बात कर रहे थे. ये तीनों टर्म्स इंपॉर्टेंट है. थोड़ा सा मैं इसके ऊपर स्ट्रेस करके देन विल गो इट. हाँ, तो श्रुति विप्रतिपन्ना का क्या मीनिंग होता है? विप्रतिपन्ना आई सेड इज वी इज ऑपोजिट, विपरीत, एंड प्रतिपन्ना इज सम सॉल्यूशन गिविंग टैक्टिक. कोई सॉल्यूशन, कोई आके मेरे पास प्रॉब्लम लेके आया तो वी गिव सॉल्यूशन, राइट? सो दुनिया भर के सारे प्रॉब्लम्स के सॉल्यूशंस वेदा में दिए हुए हैं. ओके, विप्रतिपन्ना. So, opposite of solution giving tactics is vipratipanna. So, what does Shruti gives you mostly? Shruti gives you mostly promises for various deeds. You will get this results, right? Most of it, 80% of it. So, Krishna is saying, Shruti vipratipanna. Go against the tactics of solution given in the Vedas. So what kind of tactics are they? Are the Vedas discussing about some sinful pleasures? No, in fact, Vedas say go be beyond that. What are the Vedas discussing? What kind of pleasures? Some pious pleasures, right? Pious pleasures. That's what we can say. To have some good thing, we have to do this. To have some putra, we have putra kameshti yagya. To have good health, we have to do this yagya, that yagya. So this solution, that solution, different solutions have been given. So now Krishna is certainly not talking of those sinful distractions. So now all those will distract us. He is certainly talking about those pious distractions, which actually, are recommended in the Vedas. Krishna is telling here, so go above that. That's what he said, become nirvedam, go above that, he said. So those distractions he was talking about. So he's talking about vipratipanna is go against those, promises or, kind of distractions. Huh? Beyond. Go beyond those distractions. Yeah, vipratipanna. Go beyond those distractions. Not again, sorry. Go beyond those distractions, he was saying. So that is what is Shruti, vipratipanna. And Shruti, nischala. So nischala again you have to understand because here 2 terms have come. Nischala and achala. And that is where that nirakar and akar also I'll explain you connection with. When it comes nischala, what is it meaning? And achala meaning what? So kabhi ye jhagda bahut zyada ho jata hai. So, and Shruti is saying, when Krishna is saying that, that hearing those promises, You keep hearing so many promises in the Vedas. You stay nischala. You stay fixed, unaffected. Your mind should not get wandered. You stay fixed. Mind has a capacity to wander, right? Mind is not fixed. Mind, because going forward you will anyway come. Chanchala hi mana. Opposite of nischala is chanchala. Chanchala hi mana Krishna. Your mind is chanchala. It will keep on going here and there. Right? And opposite of that chanchala is nischala, fixed. It has a capability of being fixed also, but it is not fixed in nature. You understand the point? It is not immovable. It can move. It can wander here and there and come. Today अभी अमेरिका का नायग्रा फॉल्स बोलो वहां जाके आ जाएगा 1 सेकंड में ना. तो माइंड कैन वैंडर. सो माइंड को निश्चला करने को बोला है. So that doesn't mean that you have stopped working of your mind. You cannot stop working of your mind. Right? Knee का मतलब वही होता है. जो means like knee doesn't give you negate anything. Rather it will give you the positive aspect. So you have, your mind is very flickering. You better fix. Whatever is happening, try to be unaffected. That is निश्चला. श्रुति निश्चला. श्रुति में बहुत सारे promises बोले हुए हैं. उस श्रुति से आपको निश्चला होना है. ओके. सो हमारे लिए तो हम जहां पर भी देखेंगे, हमारे लिए तो दुनिया भर का, हम तो टीवी खोले दुनिया भर का एडवर्टाइजमेंट, बाहर जाएंगे दुनिया भर का एडवर्टाइजमेंट. एक जमाने में सऊदी में एडवर्टाइजमेंट बाहर दिखते नहीं थे. ओके. You will not have, or if the advertisements were there, only male characters were there, no female characters, right? So now everything is changing here also. So for us, anything we go, we have all those allurements, different advertisements to us, different allurements. Of course, Krishna was not talking of those allurements in Karma Kanda section, but the question is, to understand those, I'm giving you this example. The moment when you go out, you have a lot of advertisements. So, and those allurements, how do you not get, continuously they'll be bombarding you on the advertisements. Okay. So what will happen? Someday or the other, say, क्या है यार, use करके तो देखते हैं product में क्या जाता है. That is what is chanchala. Okay, just to explain you, I'm telling. So that is where, so Krishna is telling, your mind should be fixed. Okay. See, there are examples in Shastras where people have, due to lost their trance, or today we call absorptions, due to allurements. Vishwamitra, Saubhari Muni, you know, right? He had the art of doing yoga in the water. He had the art of doing yoga in the water. So, योग कर रहे थे पानी के अंदर. And when he was doing yoga, like, trance without anything, and suddenly there was, a lot of noise made by fishes. What happened? Garuda had come. Garuda naturally eats fishes. It is its food. And it wanted to eat the fish, and fish went down and started making a lot of noises. As a result, Saubhari Muni's trance got distracted. Yeah, disturbed. So, what did he do? He said, Garuda, they are in my support, they are my sanrakshan, they are in my sanrakshan, protection, so you please go away. And what would happen if so as a result, what happened? Okay, he was also, Garuda is also a Vaishnava. He obeyed one more Vaishnava and he left the place, and later on Kalia occupied that place in Yamuna. If Saubhari Muni would not have said Garuda, he would have eaten 1 or 2 fishes and gone. That's it. But that is okay. Then the fishes were very happy and they started mating, and he saw that mating. And now don't ask me how did he see them mating. So he came out and he also married around 100 princesses. So what the person who had a quality of absorbing in the water also just got fall down and came out and married. So this is what. Whereas absorption is such, like we can give example of Haridas Thakur, we discussed many number of times. The prostitute had come to distract him, but in fact she got changed and she became the disciple of the Haridas Thakur. So that is what is the Nischala Buddhi can do. So have that your Buddhi fixed. In one consciousness. That is what we call Krishna consciousness, and Srila Prabhupada always talks of that consciousness. Samadha achala buddhi. Okay, this also will take, and then so that you will give the understanding why Arjuna is asking such questions today. What is the meaning of walking, talking, and all those? So we have to understand. So samadha achala buddhi. What is achala? Achala is opposite is chala. Chala is moving, and achala is non-moving. Non-moving, unflinching. So Shruti Viprati Pannate, being Shruti Viprati Pannate and being Nischala, you can continue to be in Samadhi Achala Buddhi. So those two conditions are required to get into Samadhi Achala Buddhi. So Samadha is represented by the word Samadhi, which means trance, or absorption, which is perfection of yoga also we call. Perfection of yoga. That is why Dhyana Yoga, among the Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga has been placed in the last. That is the perfection of Karma Yoga. Perfection of Karma Yoga. So absorption, a meditation of the highest quality, of the highest truth, we can call it as. Meditation of the highest quality or the highest truth where no allurements would work. For us, how do we understand Samadhi? For example, Yogananda Prabhu is very much interested in cricket, right? And if some India-Pakistan match is going on, Pakistan is also here, don't worry. So what will happen? A person who is so engrossed in match, he will not leave for a second, even a single ball. That is okay. There is entertainment in that match. Okay, I don't talk about entertainment. There is just for explaining, I am explaining. Don't go for that Divya trance. I'm just explaining how material trance and all those happens. So Divya trance, I have a message not gone. So it's not right for me to. So when you go, so somebody would come and say, Yogananda, please come. There is a nice movie there outside. He said, no, I have a match. I cannot come out. Or he'll say, Yogananda, there is very nice restaurant opened. We'll go nice Italy and all those is being done. He says, no, anything is after the match. Why? Because he was so much absorbed. So, such kind of petty, this thing, we always see the trance in our normal lives also. Okay. So, we cannot see that trance where what Krishna is talking about. For us, right now, it is very difficult to understand because we have not gone into that kind of situation. We can only infer those, So how do you infer is I'm telling you through this material. So when you talk, when you put your buddhi, when you just put your this thing, absorption, the same cricket thing only I was talking about. When you are so much absorbed in cricket that you do not want to this, you do not want to do this, no, you don't do want to this, no, everything you say, no, right? So in that situation, he has some kind of experience, okay, my mind is just concentrating on the match. Such kind of concentration on some issues, some absorptions, everybody will have. Okay, मैं तो निहार रहा था, वो निहारना भी एक हिसाब से absorption है. किसी को लेके किसी चीज को निहार रहा था, किसी चीज को पढ़ रहा था, पढ़ने में मगन था, कोई पढ़ने में इतना मगन रहता है, कोई लैपटॉप में इतना मगन रहता है, माता जी कुछ बोल रही होती है, उसके कान में तो कुछ जाता ही नहीं है. So material world also we see some kind of trance. Okay, that I'm not calling it as spiritual trance. I'll not call trance. That's what I'm calling absorption. That's why I took the word absorption. So that kind of absorption we will see in our lives. So how to make use of that kind of absorption to reach to the Supreme? Those kind of experiences, like when you can think of consciously sitting for 3 hours in a match without unflinching, without getting up, without drinking. Okay, there also they give entertainment. That's where it distracts you and you also get up. And earlier, olden days, 5 days match chalta tha. Nobody used to get up also. Morning se laake evening tak khana bhi jab break hota tha tabhi khana khate the. Nowadays it is all every 1 second, every hour there is an ad and all those you get disturbed. So you trance is not at all possible. But then that is it. That is what it is. So those things how you have to best make use of. So he is talking about that kind of trance to Arjuna. So did Arjuna not, so that's the reason he talk about these three terms, Shruti Vipratipanna, Shruti Nischala, and Shruti Achala, Samadha Achala. Whether Arjuna did not have these three, in fact, these are one of the characteristics of the mind, you can call it as. Okay, these are the characteristics of the mind also, you can call all these three. That's what. So did Arjuna not have all these three?
Yes, you know that focus on the eye of the parrot.
Okay.
We had that unmoving. He had again with the material word.
You know. Okay, so yeah, so you all believe Arjuna had that, right? Examples only is तीनों का example चाहिए तो मैं बोलोगी तीनों का example बोलो एक एक का जैसे श्रुति विप्रति पढ़ना allurements he was how did he control all his allurements Swarga when he went to Swarga Loka to gather the Divya Astras at that time Urvashi okay gave allurements to him and he did not get disturbed, right? He did not get distracted with those allurements. So he was Shruti Vipratipanna. And then second, Shruti Nischala. Vipratipanna. He did not get attached to the Swargik Bhogas. He just wanted to collect and come back. Okay. Nischala is Urvashi. Nischala is Urvashi. He did not fall to Urvashi's allurements. Okay, Urvashi cursed him and all those, but still he did not fall to his allurements. And Samadha Achala. When he went to ask Krishna for the help in the warfare, both he and Duryodhan reached at the time. So when he was given the chance, what did he choose? Krishna, unflinchingly. मुझे तो बस आप ही चाहिए, नारायणी सेना नहीं चाहिए. Unflinching, he chose Krishna. He had all the three. He was being just reminded by Krishna. In fact, it is not for him, but for us. That reminder is for us. Dogdha Gopala Nandana, Parthor Vatsa Sudhir Bhokta. So, Arjuna is just a Vatsa from the ocean, the cow, from the milky ocean, which is represented by the cow. Vatsa is Arjuna, and Arjuna, when Krishna is saying to Arjuna, it is all for all of us, because Vatsa, after drinking the milk of the cow, the balanced milk is for human beings only. Don't go as per vegans. They will say what all they want to say. So after the drinking of milk of the Vatsa, that is the first priority. Then the balanced milk is only for the human beings to drink. And that is why that second category of mother has been given to the cows. So that thing, Arjuna already had, but that is a reminder for us. So for us on our spiritual part, that state of absorption, how do we attain? Then, this petty experiences that come our way, we have to take them as our motivational factor. We spoke about motivational factor also, right? Take them as our motivational factor and march ahead in your devotional life. उन चीज को अपने जीवन में मोटिवेशन के तौर पे लो और अपने जीवन में आगे बढ़ो. And this is the way yoga is a process and a perfection. And this is where. So yoga is a process. The process was already said, samatvam, yoga karmasu kaushalam. And how do you attain that perfection through the process of absorption is being said today. So once your buddhi becomes Krishna conscious, that is what, when it becomes single pointed focus, then only this absorption is possible. Dhyan योग तभी संभव हो पाएगा. Otherwise आप भूल जाओ. और उस चीज के लिए, so for that you have to do practice of what you are doing. Be petty absorptions. That's why some meditation is required, they say. That meditation can be mantra meditation also. Don't worry about it. That only by sitting in that particular pose it will be happen. No. Even mantra meditation also. Just meditate on the mantra. Keep singing on the mantra and meditate on the mantra. That is the reason why we take kirtan. Bring your consciousness from wherever you were, from office days, home, traffic, accident days, that to Krishna. That is why Jai Radha Madhava we start off with. So that consciousness of everybody dovetails to this Vrindavan, what has been created. So that's what Krishna is reminding Arjuna, do not get disturbed. These temptations will come and go. Similarly, temptations may come and go for us. We don't have to go into that temptation and check whether I am getting tempted or not. No. There is a lot of things in the material world which already tempts us that we will fall prey to it. We have to minimize those temptations. And how would you minimize the temptation? Unless you have an higher taste, unless you know what is the higher taste. For that, obtaining that higher taste, if you are absorbing in this lower material taste, take this as a shelter to reach that place, not as an indulgence. Take that as a shelter to reach to the trance stage rather than indulging in that stage. Are you clear? So those kind of petty experience would help you to increase your absorption levels. That is what हरिनाम में रुचि लाने की बात करते हैं हम लोग. क्यों? क्योंकि हरिनाम में रुचि कैसे एक बार बोलने 2 बार बोलने से नहीं होगा, ये तो बार बार बोलने से ही होगा. एडवर्टाइजमेंट है ना, बार बार बोलने से हम जाके एक बार कभी खरीदते हैं. अब तो कुछ नहीं खरीदने की भी चीज भी हम खरीद के खाते हैं ना. तो किसान जैम बोलेगा उसके अंदर नाम के अंदर बोलेगा रियल टमाटोज, बट रियल टमाटोज रहते नहीं उसके अंदर. क्लियरली इट इज रिटन, इट इज नॉट टमाटोज ओनली, इट इज ओनली केमिकल्स. स्टिल वी बाय थिंकिंग इट्स रियल टमाटोज. So we have to strive for absorption for the higher taste and making use of this. So for if you have no experience of higher taste, then restrict temptation. Then okay, restricting again temptations would be like deprivation. You are depriving yourself. So that is the reason when you have some higher taste, you will take this distraction of temptation as a situation which is for as a to release ourselves from that temptation, as a situation which we can release ourselves from that temptation. बाबा मैं आज इधर आ गया हूँ, लेकिन मुझे तो आज इस समय नहीं आना था, लेकिन चलो ठीक है, मैं कृष्णा को याद करता हूँ, अभी 2 घंटे यहाँ बिता के निकल जाता हूँ. At least that kind of distraction. When you know about that higher taste, you will come out of that distraction with your own efforts. That is what Yoga Karma Kaushalam will help you there. So when you do that process, you will reach at this perfection, and that is where it was spoken as perfection as well as this. So we have to cultivate how, and when we can cultivate, when we know the higher taste of philosophy, and that is how we give you. Everybody will not get this philosophy in depth, but whatever people get to their level of extent of understanding, it is better for them. Right? That's why I gave that example of Srila Prabhupada point. Srila Prabhupada had written something odd in nothing related to absorption, but he gave the absorption through way of Krishna consciousness. And that was when he said highest perfection of self-realization is that we have to understand we are the eternal survivor of the Lord, representing 15.7, that is, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke. Krishna says, you are my Amsha, stuck in this material world. Please come back to me because of your senses. And then there is only no business, that's the only one business to discharge Krishna consciousness duties. Dovetailing of our work, that is where we took 8.7. How you have to dovetail your work. And Krishna says, fight with this thing unto me, dedicating unto me, all that entire war dedicating to me. You fight, you will be sinless. You were all outside, right? That's why. So 8.7 I discussed was that. And then Krishna consciousness, in Krishna consciousness, one comes directly in communion with Krishna. Prabhupada, I was discussing, left Vrindavan, leaving communion with Krishna, but he got created Vrindavan there itself. And then whatever instructions one gets in that particular state, that also is transcendental. So we will not do anything, sitting in Krishna consciousness, we will not think of singing filmy songs, right? Even if we sing, that's only for example. Don't take it other way around. To explain you all. Then one is sure to achieve results. This is the purport I'm talking. One is sure to achieve results by such activities and attain conclusive knowledge. Sita Maya is the example. Though she was abducted and Ravana left no allurements to be given to Sita, but still she did not fall prey. Her buddhi was fixed on Ramachandra only. So that is the reason how one has to carry out the orders of Krishna or his representative, the spiritual master. And that is where we said, exactly the same way Krishna also does, following Guru order. Guru will give you order. To follow or not follow is your prerogative, right? Krishna also, after selling Bhagavad Gita in the end, says, Nash, have you followed? I have given whatever has been given. Now you say whether you have come out your compassion, your moha, through which you were lost. Then he says, yeah, nashta moho smrutir labdha. I've got back my memory. So this is the way describing about the Krishna conscious person, Prabhupada ends the purport. That is what, when we become from vyavasayatmika buddhi to, bhaushaka buddhi to vyavasayatmika buddhi, this is where the focus on intelligence comes in. Using your intelligence, how do we do our works, dovetail our works, nishkam way and all those way, and come to this level. Then Arjuna, after listening to 43 shlokas of verdict, Arjuna today is asking question, sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā, samādhi-sthasya keśava. That's why I took only one, because मैं बोला ये थोड़ा पीछे का भी ले लेते हैं. And sthita-dhīḥ kim prabhāṣeta, āsīta vrajeta kim. So he is asking 4 questions today. Sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā, a person who is well situated, that's what we are talking, right? Sthita-prajñasya means one who is situated, prajñasya, in that particular consciousness, situated mind, so situated intelligence. So that kind of person, sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā. So what kind of words, what kind of language, or what kind of symptoms that kind of person represents. So today is asking, so what kind of language? Ka bhāṣā. एक तो क्या बात करता है वो? What kind of language does he use? So sthita-prajña is used by Arjuna in response to the last word, achala. In 53, what Krishna used, achala buddhi, samadha achala buddhi. So for achala, Arjuna is using prajña in form of question. Prajña is also used for the buddhi only. प्रज्ञा है, इसके पास तो अच्छी प्रज्ञा है, हम बोलते हैं. प्रज्ञा का मतलब है बुद्धि, काफी प्रखर प्रज्ञा है इसकी, तो प्रखर बुद्धि है इसको बोलते हैं. तो प्रज्ञा का भाषा. सो व्हाट द लैंग्वेज? तो भाषा और this intelligent steady person uses what kind of language? Samādhi-sthasya keśava. So samadhis is using the word in response to that word samadha used in the previous verse. Krishna used samadha. Arjuna is asking samadhis. In that situation of samadhi, Krishna is so what are the symptoms of that person? Whether he'll be sitting like this, whether he'll be closing his eyes, whether what are the symptoms? How does he transform himself? So which means one who is in trance will have some kind of symptoms. O Keśava, O Krishna, tell me, Arjuna is asking. Sthita-dhīḥ prabhāṣeta means sthita-dhīḥ is also the word referred to, again, the acronym or synonym of sthita-prajña. Sthita-dhīḥ, dhī is buddhi again, sthita is again the situated fixed buddhi. So achala, nischala buddhi which we are talking about. Achala buddhi which we are talking about. So sthita-dhīḥ kim prabhāṣeta. So how does this person speak, converse? Kim āsīta, how does he sit? Vrajeta kim, how does he walk? Now most of us, we have to understand one important thing here, because these are the questions which come, which you will say, what is this Arjuna asking? What is the meaning of this walking, talking, and So most important thing is we have to understand scriptures. Always. Okay, we will try to understand scriptures in some common sense always, right? But sometimes common sense does not make any sense, right? Sometimes that common sense, or say the literal meaning we call it as. Sometimes we want to understand the word with the literal meaning, and sometimes literal meaning does not give the required answer, required sense. And that is where the internal, the gaon we call it as, the internal meaning comes out. Okay. So Acharya has explained that we have to understand the internal meaning here. Okay. Anybody can debate. Oh, it's good. So when he says, like, Arjuna is talking about some aspects today, and how a person talks, how a person walks, how a person, behaves. So he is not talking anything like, what is being talked in fashion TV. Like, you'll fashion TV, anyone of you seen FTV? कितने लोगों ने देखा है? अपने जीवन में एक बार तो भी देखा होगा? देखा है कि नहीं देखा है? हाँ ना? उसमें होता क्या है? इस कोने से उस कोने तक चलना, उस कोने से इस कोने तक चलना, सुबह से लेकर शाम तक चलते ही रहते हैं, कोई ना कोई चलते ही रहता है. I don't know what they understand. Arjuna is not talking about those. Arjuna is not talking about, because where are they situated? They are not situated in some studio or anything. They are right in the battlefield. And serious discussion was going on till now. What kind of discussion? The entire process of moving from bhūṣā buddhi to vyavasātmika buddhi, the whole process. That's why I did the chart, so that you understand why. And he's asking a question which is related to fashion TV, or no, he's certainly not asking to that. They are in the warfield, and they are not ordinary people, charismatic people. Arjuna is also charismatic. Okay, in India you go, they'll say Rahul Gandhi is also charismatic. But Krishna and Arjuna were certainly charismatic people. So they were discussing very serious things. Vyavasātmika buddhi. And in between them, and again, in that serious thing, Krishna was asking them to reject those pious pleasures, which is again ordained by the Shastras. See, everything is ordered in the Shastras. For doing this, you do this. For doing this, you do. It is ordered in the Shastras. And Krishna was asking them to go away. Leave those kind of pleasures. Be away. Or, cross over those pleasures. Don't be attached to those pleasures. So, obviously, they will not be talking of what is simply, whether sitting idly or walking nicely, gracefully with some catwalks and all those. No, they are not talking about it. So, literal meaning, so when he says first thing, sthita-ka-bhāṣā, he says, sthita-prajñasya ka-bhāṣā. This sthita-prajña person speaks what kind of language? Ka-bhāṣā. So we have to understand the non-literal meaning of ka-bhāṣā. So when you say bhāṣā, bhāṣā means what? Technically, okay, we'll say bhāṣā means Tamil, Telugu, Hindi, Sindhi, Angreji, whatever, all kinds of bhāṣā, right? But we know Krishna and Arjuna are speaking in which bhāṣā? Sanskrit bhāṣā. Sanskrit bhāṣā is Deva bhāṣā, right? So bhāṣā means what? Actually, technically, bhāṣya means what? Bhāṣya comes from bhāṣya, and bhāṣya is commentary. Bhāṣya is commentary. Tika is commentary on commentary. Further comment, टिप्पणी, वही टीका टिप्पणी बोलते हैं ना, उसको बोलते हैं कमेंट्री के ऊपर कमेंट्री लिखना. कई आचार्य टीका टिप्पणी लिखते हैं, कमेंट्री के ऊपर भी अपना मत और अच्छे तरह से निखारने के लिए प्रस्तुत करते हैं ना. So that is what. So bhāṣya and tika, these are the two words used generally. So bhāṣya comes from bhāṣā. So what happens in the commentary? Something is described in detail. Right? When a shloka has been said by the Lord, Prabhupada has given a commentary. He has described you in something in detail. That is the bhāṣā. Okay, that is the bhāṣā. So that is the description which is coming as a commentary. So which is a summary of some particular matter. So sthita-prajñasya ka-bhāṣā means how that person describe what are the symptoms of that self-realized soul. How it has been described, how the symptoms of that particular soul, that is sthita-prajñasya person, is described as ka-bhāṣā. How a person described what are the symptoms of this particular self-realized guru. Kim prabhāṣeta. Samadhi will come. Kim prabhāṣeta. How does he use this bhāṣā? How does he converse? Which basically means how does this person respond to life? How does this person respond to situations in life? That is speech. So we all know we go through ups and downs in life, jail bhi jana padega. Ups and downs in life. So, how does a person respond by speech in such situation? Whether he is angry, whether he is showing his fury, okay, or whether he is getting wild on some aspects, or he is wild upon his success. People go wild upon success, right? Or is wild on fury when he gets all the reversals. So how does this buddhiman vyakti, or this vyavasayatmika buddhi person responds, or this Krishna conscious person responds? That's what we can say. That is what Prabhupada has written, Krishna conscious person responds. So, sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā, samādhi-sthasya keśava, sthita-dhīḥ kim prabhāṣeta. These are the three words important. Sthita-prajñasya ka bhāṣā, samādhi-sthasya keśava, sthita-dhīḥ kim prabhāṣeta. So, there should be no ambiguity. That is where Arjuna is asking, because he wants to know about himself also. I have to become a sthita-prajña person, of that vyavasayatmika buddhi person. So, I want to know how does this people, whether he does yuddha or not. Kya wo yuddha karta hai? Arjuna also wants to know. That is the reason he is. So stress karte hue, ek hi cheez ko stress karte hue, he is asking all types of questions. He has three references, like, sthita-prajñasya, intelligence fixed. Huh? Krishna used in 2.52, buddhir vyatitarishyati. Oh, he used that, and achala buddhi, he used in 2.53. Okay, where both meant, where your buddhi is fixed. Okay, so that same thing he is representing here by calling it as sthita-prajñasya. Samadhis, which is samadha in 2.53, how a person responds. So sthita-dhīḥ is again also buddhi. That person whose buddhi is fixed, how does he talk? So he is again focused on that buddhi and asks these three questions. What does he talk means what? Nothing related to four talks. What we do in college, inter-college competitions. We have some college competitions like four talks. They are not talking anything about four talks. We get prize for those. But Krishna and Arjuna are not talking those kinds of talks. They were very serious context actually which they are talking about. So sthita-dhīḥ for Krishna conscious person will be what? How one always speaks. So that is where Prabhupada has written in the purport that he speaks only about Krishna consciousness. And 9.14 if you open, Krishna will also say Satatam kirtayanto ma yatastancha dhrudavrata. Yes, 9.14. Namasyantascha mam. 9.14 खोल के देखो प्रभु. Satatam kirtayanto ma nityayukta upasate. That is what it becomes. Satatam kirtayanto ma yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yoga. No, that is a different again. No, that is different. That is 9.25. So you open 9.14 because sometimes some words are common. Bhaktya nitya upasate. So translation क्या बोलता है? Always.
और ये महात्मा महिमा का नित्य कीर्तन करते हुए, दृढ़ संकल्प के साथ प्रयास करते हुए, मुझे नमस्कार करते हुए, भक्ति भाव से निरंतर मेरी पूजा करते हैं.
Okay. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Sthita-dhīḥ. So, and that's where Prabhupada elaborates and says, Murkha, jab tak murkha, means like a person who is, how can you understand a fool? The moment he opens his mouth, we'll understand. We cannot take him as a fool until he has not opened his mouth. When a fool speaks, we'll understand he is a foolish person. Because he'll talk all nonsense only. So, oh Keśava. Keśava here, he used the word keśava. Keśava, samādhi. So, this intelligent person asking in such a way, oh keśava, what are the symptoms of this particular person? Oh keśava. Keśava he used. Keśava means what? Name of Krishna. Why? We discussed. He killed Casey demon, and Casey demon represent what? It was a horse demon. All of you know or no? Uska story bola nahi. Horse demon. So horse demon, what did he represent? He represented the false pride and our attachments to material accomplishments. So when you come to that story, we'll tell some other day, it represented those material accomplishments attachment. So Krishna till now spoke about not being attached to any kind of material possessions, right? कुछ भी material चीजों से we should not have attachment. We should have attachment with Krishna, which is spiritual attachment. Automatically we'll get disattached with this material attachment. So that is the reason we spoke about various material attachment, right? Nandana garden and all those people. So Krishna, oh keśava, that's why Arjuna used the word here, oh keśava. That is, a keśava means a person who can relieve us from all kind of material attachments. Kim āsīta vrajeta kim. Kim āsīta vrajeta kim. That, how does this person sit and walk? Again, going to non-literal meaning, not with the literal meaning. Āsīta means, okay, literally simple, sitting idle, baithna hai, chupchap. But the meaning is here, how a person keeps his senses under control. How a person can keep his senses under control amidst all allurements. Amidst all types of allurements, how he can keep his senses under control. Not let them wander here and there. How can he keep the senses restrained or disciplined? That's āsīta. And vrajeta kim. How does he move about? Now we cannot just live motionless, right? When we take literally, okay, we have to control our senses, so we cannot be motionless, right? We cannot always. So without any activity in our life, we cannot be motionless. We have to do activity. And in fact, Krishna said, you have to do act. So we have to act. So what does this intelligent person, how does he act? That's the actual meaning. So even while moving or even while whatever, how does he act? How does he, how does he walk? That's what it comes in. So essentially 4 questions and 4 answers Krishna will give. That is what I'll give you a brief. So first question is, he asks is, ke bhāṣā, what does he speak, right? What does he speak? So that Krishna answers in 56 and 57. First in next 55, he'll speak of some general symptoms. Okay. General symptoms in 55. 54 we are, right? Today. In 55, he'll speak of some 2 general symptoms. That one, he gives up the material desires born out of sense gratification or mental concoctions. One has to give up those kinds of desires. And once giving up that desire, he gets purified at mind, and then he finds satisfaction in the self. That is where, when mind is in equilibrium with the Atman, that is what we said, samādhi. So he'll speak in general conditions, about those general conditions in 55. In 56 and 57, 2 sloks he gives answer for ka bhāṣā. How an intelligent person, the words, how does he respond to affection, anger, neutrality, that will come in 56 and 57. How does he sit? That is senses, how does he control? Is being spoken from 58 to 63. 58 to 63. Third question, that is, so how to restrain your senses? Krishna will again use the metaphor there. As I said, Krishna uses metaphor to explain or, concretely give answers. He'll use the metaphor of a tortoise and snakes. Tortoise, like tortoise has his limbs. Whenever it wants to walk, it will just pull out. Or it wants to eat something, it will pull out its limbs. And once the work is done, he'll again pull inside. So use it only for the purpose of Krishna consciousness. And the snakes, the snake charmer can, breaks the fangs of the poisonous snakes. So those kinds of material things has to be broken, like how snakes' fangs are broken. Then we are all So that is where all our anartha, those kinds of, those pravrittis has to be broken. Like snake charmer. So we'll come to all those we'll discuss. I'm just giving you a free flow from here to 72, how the Bhagavad Gita will flow. This is the question where Arjuna is asking. Okay. And then how does he walk? How does he walk is being answered from 64 to 71. Where Krishna will speak, one engages his senses, with regulation and religious principles. When he engages his senses with regulation, not leaving it open, go enjoy it to the maximum. No. Nothing is left, as I said you. In Shastras also never give you full freedom. It gives with restrictions. That is what Krishna will speak from 64 to 71. And in 67, he will again use one more metaphor of a boat sailing on the ocean. Even boat, in the ocean is not stationary. It is moving. Even in that moving situation, it can get swayed with the strong winds. Similarly, strong desires out of the person's mind can sway him away. The intelligence, carry the intelligence also along with it. So that is the reason why Nischala and Achala was used in the last shloka. So he'll give that example. Okay, we'll understand those examples when we come to that. But this is what, when giving a metaphor, that the boat, in order to not get carried away with the wind, they have so many obstructions, changing the directions of the clothes, of the curtains and all those which has been put on the boat and all those many things. Or make people, wait less on the front, move in the back, and all those things they do. So that the boat just not get swayed away in the wrong direction. And those examples he will explain while working, while talking, while walking. What he means is, while doing your activities, how you should not get swayed away, keeping the religious principles in place. Okay, that's what I said. Bhagavad Gita describes mostly principles. It will not say how to do arti. So this is what is the 4 questions of Arjuna which we'll read through. But why Arjuna is asking that question now? What is the stimuli for Arjuna to ask that question? He was in a very serious discussion. As I said to you, the stimuli one was, okay, whether how this Krishna conscious person, whether he does war or not. That is also one of them. Because ultimately what happened, the broader context is, of course, fight or not fight only. So Krishna has given a clear call in 37, Yuddhaya Krita Nishchaya, and also in 38, Tatho Yuddhaya Yujjasva, fight for the sake of fighting. Okay, there he had already given a call for action, and how you have to do that action also. Nishkam Nishkarmanyavadikarasya, he has given that action also. Okay, all he has given, and then he has given the process through which that work has to be done, as you know, Samatvam and Yoga Karmashu Kaushalam, and then the Samadha Achala Buddhi in the previous shloka. Following this, one should come at the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi stage, and that intelligent person, Arjuna is asking, how does he control his senses? How does he, sits, walks, and all those? How does he be within the presence of dharma and all those? So he is asking for himself also and for us also. So again, the same non-literal meaning, because literal meaning will not help us out. Arjuna is not asking for FTV. That's what I was asking. So whether I can become such person, Arjuna is asking Krishna by putting these questions. Whatever Krishna has said till now, Arjuna has understood, but it has not dispelled his doubt clearly that whether I should fight or not. Krishna, you have said me, get up and fight. Fight for the sake of fighting. And fight with the motive of win or loss. But coming into that situation, whether I should fight or not, directly, he cannot ask this question. Of course, going forward, he'll ask that also. In 3rd chapter, 4th chapter, he'll ask directly only. How about you tell me first, either I should fight or not? So Krishna is giving him, so Krishna here, so he's asking it indirectly here. He's raising, this first question. Again, after this, again, Krishna will give serious discourse. on how to talk, how to walk, how to sit. Krishna will give again some serious discourse. And such questions Arjuna will keep repeating so that, this Bhagavad Gita can nicely, transit from one gear to the second gear to the third gear, and, the magnanimity of the solutions available in the Shastras will come revealed to you. So remember, the questions of Arjuna mark significant transition. Whenever Arjuna is asking a question, it will mark significant transition point or a significant thought point or a significant juncture or a significant platform for us. In this way, Bhagavad Gita will go to a different, and there it will enlighten you by absorbing the Vani. Then it will enlighten you by absorbing the Vani. Because Samadhi, we were talking so much of Samadha. So you should also absorb the Vani of Bhagavad Gita. Absorbing the Vani rather than just taking it as a philosophical treatise between Arjuna and Krishna. And that is where we say those principles, how do we make use of in our This is where he asks his 4 questions. So we'll take up the question one by one next time. Well, I thought this Samadha, Achala Buddhi and this thing has to be connected so that, important topics are again starting.
ये 1 o'clock का अलार्म किसने लगा रखा है? अन्ना ओके
अन्ना 24 घंटे चौकन्ना. Hare Krishna. So, any doubts? Please, because I may not be perfect person to speak. I may not be as, revealing as Bhagavad Gita itself is. But I'm just trying to take you what is the mood of Krishna and giving the knowledge to Arjuna, and it is knowledge for us. And Srila Prabhupada, that's why he mentioned, all such things. Sometimes in the purport, sometimes we don't understand the purport also. Unless we take this all in totality. कृष्ण भावना भावित व्यक्ति का सर्व प्रमुख लक्षण यह है कि वह केवल कृष्ण तथा उन्हीं से संबंध विषयों में बोलता है. फिर तो अन्य लक्षण स्वतः प्रकट हो जाते हैं जिसका उल्लेख आगे किया जाएगा. That is what we'll have to go through in coming shlokas. Hare Krishna.
हरे
Srila Prabhupada की जय.